Bonsoir. So I'm Charlotte Bosseaux, that's the right way to pronounce it. It's not Bosseaux, it's not Bossex, it's Bosseaux. And yes, I'm French. And being French is not so bad, actually. It means I can get away with quite a bit, like I can be condescending in a charming kind of way. And since I've been living abroad, it's been my excuse for everything and anything. So if people like what I wear and say, oh Charlotte, you're very pretty, I say, well, what do you expect? I'm French. And if they dare telling me, oh, what is it you're wearing? I say, well, I don't give a shit what you think, I'm French. But you're not here to hear me talk about my life as a French woman in the UK and the high standards I have to live by. Though I have to say that I kill the next man that tells me how cute and adorable Amélie Poulain is. Now you're here to know about translation studies, well, I think you're here to know that. So what is translation studies? Well, it's the field of investigation of translation and the original. I've been working on film translation, so I look at dubbing, so that's when you change the voice of characters in the film or real people. And you'd agree that changing a voice could maybe lead to change of personality, for instance, and that could go right or that could go wrong, like plastic surgery. And I think if you get a French job, satisfaction is guaranteed. But I'm not sure if you get an English one. Yeah. So most of you would be British, reading things in English, and you're wondering, what's the point of her research? Why is she researching translation? What's the point of that? Well, I think we need to think about what would be the state of the world if some key foreign texts hadn't been translated, such as Buddhist scriptures, Greek philosophical texts, and the Smurf. I think it's important to translate all this. So, in my research, I want to talk to you a little bit about what I find about the way we talk about translation. So, I don't know if you noticed, but people talk about translation in a kind of sexist kind of way. They say that it's a good translation if it's faithful to the original. It's a bad translation if it betrays the original or the text. And there is this philosopher called George Steiner that goes a little bit forward, like he really says this. And George says, well, George talks about translation as an act of penetration. What he says is that a translator, when you translate, you invade the text, you penetrate it, you extract meaning, and you bring it home. And well, I object to that kind of thinking, but I have to say that there might be some value into it, because currently we're trying to boost our numbers at the university, we're trying to attract even more students, and I think we might just do that if we were to tell potential students that they might get a chance to penetrate and bring home Amélie Poulain, Asterix, or the Smurf. Whatever you're into, there's no judgment. Yes, no judgment. So, translation as penetration is quite sexist, and no wonder why. As a French feminist researcher, I've decided to study strong, sophisticated women, such as the British modernist writer Virginia Woolf and the American feminist activist Buffy the Vampire Slayer. It's true. Yeah, so you're going to ask me, what about translation? What about Alice in translation? What happens to Alice in translation? Well, Alice has been translated into hundreds of languages, major ones like Russian, Chinese, and some more obscure ones like Scots. Ow, that was an easy one. And we have to wonder, so what happens to Alice in translation? In French translation, does she gain some dada-vous? Does she have a certain je ne sais quoi? Well, let me tell you that if I were to translate Alice in Wonderland into French, my Queen of Hearts, and I'm not talking about Diana, my Queen of Hearts would cut heads just wearing her Chanel No. 5 perfume. And Alice would initiate deep intellectual conversation with the Mad Hatter, drinking red wine and puffing on her good wine. And I can do this because I'm a French translator, I don't give a shit about convention. And as a feminist French researcher, I'm not interested in being faithful to the author. But let's be more serious. There are 23 translations of Alice in Wonderland into French. 23. Yes, because we like to do things right as French translators. And I just want to share with you a passage, to show you a passage of Alice in Wonderland. Magic happened. To show you how, the degree of dedication of Alice penetration of the French market. So, we're going to talk a little bit about Humpty Dumpty. And we all know Humpty Dumpty, so I just show you the original. Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall, Humpty Dumpty had a great fall, and all the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty Dumpty together again. That's a literal translation. I just say it because I know you want to hear French tonight. Beautiful language. Humpty Dumpty sur un muret perché, Humpty Dumpty par terre s'est écrasé, ni les sujets du roi, ni ses chevaux ne purent jamais recoller les morceaux. It's a beautiful translation, it's good, it's faithful. And that's another translation. Now, you need to believe me when I tell you that this doesn't actually make sense. If there's anyone else speaking French in here, they can say yes. Doesn't it make sense? The back translation of that would be a little one of the little one is astonished in the whole, a little one of the little one, how degrees you to have in the subjunctive. I spare you the end. But here happens, if this is said with a strong French accent, which conveniently I happen to have. Un petit d'un petit, c'est un oral, un petit d'un petit, ah, de grette folle. Un dol qui ne sorcesse, un dol qui ne se mène, qu'importe un petit d'un petit, together again. So that's not my translation, this is by this man, the Dantin manuscript from Mother Goose Rhyme. Very funny. But just to finish, I like to say that when you work with Alice in Wonderland or Buffy the Vampire Slayer in translation, you deal with humor. And humor is very hard to translate. Some people say it's untranslatable. Which is probably why you didn't think I was very funny tonight. But you know what? I don't give a shit.